If you remember, the last time that we spoke, it was midnight on election night. And it seemed even at that moment very clear Donald Trump had won the election in a bit of a thumpening. Now, part of the disorientation of the Democrats losing the electoral vote and the popular vote and losing ground in the cities and the areas around the cities and the areas around those areas, I guess you'd call it America, was that we had all been told by many of our best prognosticators it was going to be close. We ran the results in the computer 100,000 times. She won 50,001. He won 40,099, 99. But in this coin flip country, I was confident because the Democrats had a secret weapon in a close election, perhaps the most important weapon.
Since joining the race, the vice president has raised an eye-boggling $1 billion.
Call me eyes-boggled. See, the Democrats in a 50-50 election had $1 billion, a war chest to be spent on data analytics and polling and consultants and very clearly texting. There was a lot of texting. A lot of that money went to, how the did they just text me, I'm in the tub. I don't even have my phone. It just came through the water. And while, of course, maybe just giving away $1 million of it every day would have been the smarter, more efficient plan, no! The $1 billion went towards the one thing Republicans didn't have, couldn't have, that would put the Democrats over the top.
The Harris campaign has a massive ground game, 50,000 volunteers.
With volunteers knocking on 5 million doors in Pennsylvania alone.
This is the first time some Democrats have told me they've ever heard of people knocking on the same doors a second time or a third time.
You know, if there's one thing people love, more than someone appearing randomly at their door once, it's that same person coming back 2 or 3 times to talk politics. Even though everyone from vacuum salesmen to Jehovah's Witnesses know that's a losing strategy. In fact, they've known that for decades. Let's just spend $250 million on it. You know what Democrats should do? Whatever money is left over, send those same people back to those voters' doors and just knock again during dinner. And when the homeowner comes to the door, go, what the Scott? I thought we connected. But the reason why, and I give them some shit for their strategies, but there was a method to the Democrats' madness.
Democracy and freedom are on the ballot.
Our democracy is on the line.
We have to protect democracy.
We have to work even harder to make sure that we defend our democracy.
We don't get to choose when we're asked to defend democracy. We just have to do it. And this is not a drill.
Noble words. And I'm glad to say Democrats did protect democracy. Just for the other side. Because when all is said and done, we had a free and fair election in which the Democrats had been prepared for almost every scenario but one.
The Harris campaign has built probably the most sophisticated, robust, impressive voter protection program in the history of presidential politics.
We have millions in the bank ready with lawyers all over the country that are ready.
Democrats have been planning on every one of these options for 4 years. Are Democrats ready? You bet they are.
We have county clerks ready to go, secretaries of state ready to go.
So it's all lined up. What are we forgetting, people? What? We got the lawyers, we got the protecting the... What do we got? We got... Jimmy, did you bring the voters? Oh, I thought you were bringing the voters. I brought the hate has no home here posters. Nobody brought the voters? Where are the voters? It turns out the election was stolen by more people voting for Donald Trump. It's quite a caper. Ocean's 74 million. as many on the left fear the future, as they should, many others rue the past.
Joe Biden should have dropped out earlier.
There should have been an open primary. People never got to know Kamala Harris.
They spend too little time talking about the economy.
Wildly overestimated the power of the abortion issue.
Chose the wrong VP. Managed to alienate historic numbers of Latinos.
Abandoned the working class.
Democrats need a new way to talk about urban America.
Do that Joe Rogan podcast.
Trump spoke to the people. Democrats never once mentioned Arnold Palmer's never once. Yet focus group after focus group said, got anything on Arnold Palmer's? If not, can you at least stand there and sway to Ave Maria for like an hour? Can you at least do that? But it's a delight to hear about why it happened from so many people who were so wrong about what was going to happen. And everyone has their own pet theory. But there's one theory that a lot of people seem to be coalescing around.
They were too woke, insisting that people use the term Latinx.
Too far to the left on transgender rights.
You have to say they. No, you have to do this.
Stop with the virtue signaling.
Step away from woke. Focus less on who is woke and more on who is broke.
Social justice issues take a back seat when your son is in the basement vaping and playing video games and can't find a job.
I feel like that last guy was really venting more about his son. Everybody else had sort of a broader point, but his was just so specific. You really got to focus on, let's say, a kid in your basement vaping and just jerking off all over the couch, night after night. But point taken. Everyone's talking about this wokeness theory, from cable news to the op-ed section. And sometimes the op-ed section being read on cable news.
We want to get to the Maureen Dowd piece. Maureen Dowd's piece for the New York Times entitled Democrats and the Case of Mistaken Identity Politics.
Ooh! That was Morning Joe host Mika Brzezinski discussing a New York Times column by Maureen Dowd on how to escape the liberal bubble. I guess I'll just have to get the Times and read it myself unless there's another way to make this less entertaining.
We're going to read the entire piece, but it's worth it.
About wokeness? I couldn't even stay woke through that whole thing. Why don't you read us the Wordle? I only have one problem with the woke theory. I just didn't recall seeing any Democrats running on woke shit. These were the commercials I saw for the Democrats.
Sherrod Brown is working to fix our border crisis.
Mondaire Jones is working to secure our border.
Pat Ryan is restoring order at our southern border.
I'm Laura Gillen, and I'm here at the border of Nassau County. We're 2,000 miles from Mexico, but we're feeling the migrant crisis almost every day.
In Nassau County, by the way, Suffolk County, make my day. You want a piece of our strip malls? You're going to have to go through Laura Gillen. Those are the Democrats. The Democrats. I gave the police more money than they even wanted. I gave them planes and tanks. I built a moat around the country and filled it with alligators and chlamydia. They didn't talk about pronouns. They didn't say Latinx. It was the opposite.
We can't let China steal Wisconsin jobs.
Benefits for illegal immigrants? No way. Blocking support for white farmers? I mean, look at me.
Standing with law enforcement against defunding the police.
I've owned a gun my whole life.
Let me be clear. I don't want boys playing girls' sports.
You all know me. I've never pushed for sex changes.
Well, that's just a weird one at the end there. Come on, guys, you know me. He's like George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not the guy who pushes sex yet. I'm in your shops every day. Mary, it's me, George Bailey. I'm not trying to get you to get a sex change. I'm just wishing I was dead. And don't forget about Kamala Harris. It's not like she was exactly waving around her NPR tote bag.
I have a Glock.
They didn't do the woke thing. They tried. They acted like Republicans for the last 4 months. They wore camo hats and went to Cheney family reunions. Do you know how dangerous it is to wear a hunting hat around Cheney's? You have any idea? Thought I had one more rip in me. I didn't. Democrats were mostly running against an identity that was defined for them based on a couple of months of post-George Floyd defund the police Me Too Instagram posts from 4 years ago. What happened was the country felt like government wasn't working for them. And the Democrats in particular were taking their hard-earned money and giving it to people who didn't deserve it as much as them. And so the Democrats got shellacked. I'm sure any robust examination of better policies is very welcome. But I just want to please assure people, this isn't forever. This is the map in 1984 when Ronald Reagan won. That's the map. The only state the Democrats won was Minnesota. Yeah. Everyone thought that's the end of the Democrats. But 8 years later, there was a Democrat back in office.
Now, we all know Trump has big plans for his second term. Mass deportations, tariffs, and finally building that statue of Arnold Palmer's. So, that's the scale. The question is, who's going to come to the White House and help Trump carry out his glorious agenda? And you know what? The man has won the popular vote. He's earned the right to pick his new team. We owe it to him to hear him out without, nitpicking.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is expected to be tapped as the Secretary of Homeland Security.
I'm sorry. If I could nitpick for just a sec. Kristi Noem for Homeland Security? Are you kidding me? She's supposed to get the border under control. She couldn't even train her dog. Although, I will say, I guess we know at least one Mexican who's not making it over the border. I know. Very sad. Very sad. This is our new reality. I mean, this woman has no national security experience. She's the governor of South Dakota. That isn't even the best Dakota. It goes North, Fanning, Johnson, then the building John Lennon was shot outside of, then South Dakota. But I will say Noem does have experience striking fear in the hearts of terrorists. Wait, I read that wrong. Terriers. Fear in the hearts of terriers. Yeah, sorry. You know what? I said I wouldn't interrupt. So who else is on board? I promise not to nitpick.
The former president also turning to a former House member, Lee Zeldin of New York, to lead the Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay, just to nitpick for a second here. Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin. Now, the last I remember, he wasn't a big advocate for the environment. You know what? Maybe he has some good ideas.
What are you planning to do at EPA?
We have the ability to pursue energy dominance, to be able to make the United States the artificial intelligence capital of the world, to bring back American jobs to the auto industry. We have the opportunity to roll back regulations that are forcing businesses to be able to struggle.
So the head of the EPA's top priority is protecting the auto industry, boosting artificial intelligence, and boosting business in general. Where's the environment in all this? Does the E... I mean, look at this. Does the E in EPA just stand for, f*** it? I mean, it's pretty cool how our nation's climate policy is like a battle over a thermostat. Dad comes in and turns it down, then 4 years later, Mom turns it back up. Over and over until we drown. The truth is, when you look at Trump's cabinet picks so far, they're kind of all over the place. You got mainstream politician Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, far-right weirdo Stephen Miller as Deputy Chief of Staff, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik as UN Ambassador, even though she has no diplomatic experience. I mean, what common thread could there possibly be that would explain why Trump hired all of them?
President Trump risks everything for us.
Leading us in this fight will be a man who, although wounded and facing danger, he stood up and raised his fist.
He is the toughest man that I have ever met. Nobody has endured more than what he has gone through.
Nothing, absolutely nothing will stop President Trump from standing and fighting for our great country.
Donald Trump's a style icon.
Yeah. A style icon? Stephen Miller wants to put kids in cages, but that is perhaps the most offensive thing he has said. But I guess that's the uniting factor. These people are kissing Trump's ass so hard, they've got bronzer on their nose. And yes, he puts it on down there. He covers his whole body in it, except for right here for some reason. Now, the most important person on Trump's team right now doesn't have a cabinet position. Elon Musk, world's richest man and guy who looks like a wax statue of himself that you'd look at and say, man, that's a bad wax statue. Now, since the election, Trump's been getting something that Elon's 11 children will never receive. His full attention.
Elon Musk, who's been spotted at Mar-a-Lago basically since Election Day. He's been seen golfing with Trump and hanging out there at dinner.
He's one of the few people sitting in this makeshift situation room that they built in Mar-a-Lago.
Elon Musk has been weighing in on some of Donald Trump's potential picks, making it clear to the president-elect who he believes should have that role.
Ooh, good. The world's richest man is helping the president-elect run the country. I'm sure by the time Elon's done, his businesses will be unregulated, he'll have billions in new government contracts, and it'll be illegal to point and laugh at a Cybertruck. Don't do it. Don't make fun of this. Don't make fun of it. I want to know, what else is going on in the Mar-a-Lago makeshift situation room?
He's also been sitting in many times when he's been with Donald Trump on some of the calls from foreign leaders, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Musk happened to be at the club when Zelensky called, and Trump put him on speaker.
Oh, poor Zelensky. I mean, hasn't Ukraine been through enough? He's in a bunker. Russian troops are amassing outside, and he's like, don't put Elon on, don't. Hey, Elon! Yes, I did see you jump very high. Yes. Very cool, man, very cool. Oh, yeah, the hat looked radical, man. Cool. I guess because Elon provides Ukraine with internet through his satellites, this was basically a customer service call. Which means when they put Elon on the phone, Zelensky was probably like, I hate it when these things make you talk to a robot. Human operator. So now Elon is by the president-elect's side with no oversight or security clearances or even a title.
Responding to speculation about his position in the new administration, Musk posted on X, "I'm happy to be first buddy."
Oh, you know what? Let's go back to not having a title. Worst Buddy sounds like a sequel to Air Bud where we elect a golden retriever to be president. Which, frankly, I'd take at this point. Just... looks nice. It looks nice. Just keep it away from Kristi Noem. The peaceful transfer of power is one of the most cherished features of American democracy. A hollow tradition that extends all the way from 1796 to 2016, yada, 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 and continues to this day. And today, the current president and the future president agreed to set aside differences and make nice for the cameras.
Mr. President-elect and the former president, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So good. Welcome
thank you
back.
Very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. And a transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get.
Now that's a man who appreciates a smooth transition of power. As long as it's transitioning towards him. If it's transitioning away from him, there's going to be some January 6th. But if it's towards him, smooth. I mean, they did both try to hang Mike Pence just out of tradition, but other than that, it was very cordial. Perhaps too cordial. Joe Biden, you spent the whole campaign calling him a fascist threat to democracy. It's a little weird to now be like, well, give us a call if you need any help, Mr. Hitler. Toodaloo. But hey, maybe this respectful meeting at the White House is a sign that Donald Trump is maturing. I really think we should give him... No. I really think we should. We should give him a chance to make some responsible decisions from this point forward.
Breaking news, President-elect Trump has named former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard as his pick for Director of National Intelligence.
Okay. That's terrifying, but we're warming up here. How about from this point forward, responsible?
Donald Trump has nominated his pick for Attorney General, and that is Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz.
This is definitely a pick that will raise some eyebrows on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. It's going to raise some eyebrows. We should have seen it coming. Matt Gaetz, as Attorney General, this is a new low. I mean, not as low as our age of consent laws are about to be, but pretty low. Quick question. The Department of Justice isn't within 100 feet of a school, is it? It almost feels at this point like Donald Trump is trolling us. I mean, these picks can't get any more ridiculous, right?
Fox News personality Pete Hegseth tapped for defense secretary.
No. Why do I keep doing this? Stop it. Pete Hegseth, the Fox and Friends weekend understudy. I mean, the Department of Defense is one of the most complex bureaucracies in human history. And the president is choosing its leader the same way I chose breakfast cereals as a kid. Hey, I saw that toucan on TV. He must know how to make cereal. Now, if you're fortunate enough not to spend your life watching Fox News and you're wondering if Pete Hegseth is one of the few responsible journalists on there, he's not.
Black Lives Matter trying to destroy Christmas as we know it. Can the Black Panther be played by a white guy? Wuhan virus, Chinese virus, maybe even the Kung flu.
Look, I got a plate full of burgers, and I got a buddy over here eating a Big Mac for breakfast.
I put a flag inside my jacket, okay? What game are we playing here while I get this on?
I think you're going to do sudden death soccer.
Rachel, you want in on this?
No, I don't!
I don't think I've washed my hands for 10 years.
That's Secretary, I don't wash my hands to you. Now, to be clear, Hegseth isn't just a Fox News anchor. He's a combat veteran with tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Although the combat he's most famous for did occur on a live Fox broadcast.
They're testing their skills with the axe. Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton.
I love how conservatives are like, New York is a violent war zone. Well, time to fling an axe onto Fifth Avenue. Yes, Pete Hegseth threw an axe at a group of drummers, which is pretty unbelievable. I mean, I'd understand it if it was bass players, but drummers? Then again, launching a weapon that accidentally hit a civilian? I mean, why is everyone saying this guy isn't qualified to run the Pentagon? Now, you might see this and wonder, what does Hegseth offer the U.S. military? And I'll tell you what, great deals.
You see, One Man Army loves the country and makes damn good soap. I've used them all, and I love these new brands. Like Gunsmoke, smells like American firepower. Or Gurkha, refined bourbon and tobacco leaf. Or how about Patriot and the Pine Tar Bar? There's more of them, too. You can get them in a variety pack. Each of them shaped like a grenade, soap on a rope. The Well-Groomed Militia. This 4th of July, join it at grenadesoap.com.
Look, I'm no history buff, but I have to think this is America's first defense secretary who has previously served as a soap influencer. And not just any soap, of course, grenade-shaped soap. For the kind of man who's too insecure to wash his body, you know? Is it gay to soap up my own butt? I don't know. I mean, what are these scents, by the way? Gunpowder, bourbon, tobacco? I love getting out of the shower smelling like I need a shower. I'm surprised this ad wasn't like, do you want to smell like a man at his lowest? Then try grenade soap and smell like divorce. But look, Pete's tenure isn't just going to be about smelling like bourbon while evading axe murder charges. No. As Secretary of Defense, he has plans to protect us from its greatest enemy.
We only have one military, and if the military goes woke, then it is less equipped to fight the wars it needs to fight. Social justice, politically correct, environmental, LGBT, CRT, DEI nonsense that divides the force, makes it weaker.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
That's right. That's right. No women in combat roles. In Trump's America, if women really want to risk their lives, they're going to have to get pregnant. Now, tough facts. Talk to the man. Now, you might wonder why Pete is so down on the idea of women working in the military. It's tough to say, but when you consider that reportedly his first marriage ended because he had an affair with a female coworker, and then his second marriage ended because he had another affair with a female coworker, then you begin to understand why he's so worried about working with women. Of course, Pete Hegseth has written many books espousing his social conservative principles. And if you're wondering how he squared those principles with all his affairs, it was actually easier than you think.
In his 2016 book, In the Arena, Pete Hegseth called for policies preventing divorce of parents with kids. A year later, after his affair ended his marriage, he published a revised version, changing his demands to policies preventing wanton divorce.
Damn! Fellas, you ever have sex so good it changes your opinion on divorce laws? Our next Secretary of Defense has. Today, the fallout continued over Trump's pick for Attorney General, Matt Gaetz, House Republican and guy who's had more needles in his face than Pinhead. Now, yesterday, Trump selected Gaetz to lead the DOJ, and his future employees couldn't be happier.
Multiple current and former senior officials left speechless, calling it insane, unbelievable, and one saying he is the least qualified person ever nominated for a position in the Department of Justice.
I think what I'm hearing is he has a lot of potential. Seriously, the least qualified ever. Keep in mind, that includes one of Trump's previous AGs who once starred in promotional videos for a toilet for well-endowed men. And yes, this was a real thing that happened during Trump's first term. You don't remember it, which is okay, because if it's in any consolation, maybe someday we'll forget all this too. But I'll tell you who's not disappointed by this pick. I'll tell you who's not disappointed by this pick. Matt Gaetz, a.k.a. the guy who plays Bob's Big Boy in porn parodies. Gaetz is ready to go. In fact, as soon as he was nominated, he immediately resigned from his House seat so he could get the ball rolling. He's just that eager to begin generally attorneying. Unless, there was, I don't know, some other reason he resigned so quickly.
He's been under investigation by the House Ethics Committee over an allegation that he paid for sex with a 17-year-old. His resignation from the House will effectively end that investigation, with that report due to be out Friday.
Wow. What a crafty legal maneuver by Matt Gaetz. He must be dating a girl who does mock trial. Now, call me old-fashioned, but it seems to me like a guy who was recently investigated by the Justice Department isn't the best fit to lead the Justice Department. But maybe that's coastal elite talk. I assume congressional Republicans are excited for one of their own to be elevated to such a lofty position. Let's hear them gloat to reporters.
I tried to talk to a lot of Republican senators tonight about Matt Gaetz being nominated to the post, and they made clear they were not ready to engage.
I'm having trouble.
What about Matt Gaetz?
Do you support him? We have a confirmation process.
I don't know yet. I think about that one.
Do you think Matt Gaetz is confirmable?
We'll find out. Whoa.
Senator Kennedy, what do you think of Matt Gaetz as Attorney General?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving! Matt Gaetz has nothing to do with Thanksgiving, besides him and the turkeys both needing pardons, of course. I would say, I like this strategy for avoiding the press, though. Sir, do you have regrets about the internment camps? Happy Arbor Day! And if you're wondering, why does Matt Gaetz's own party hate him so much? The answer would actually take some time. It's not just the underage sex allegation. It's also that he routinely attacks other Republicans. He doesn't do any work himself, and his personal quest to overthrow Speaker Kevin McCarthy so divided his party, a fellow Republican had to be restrained by the mouth from fighting him on the House floor. It was the first time in history Congress had to call a face mask penalty. And Gaetz hasn't just been instigating coups against his own leaders. Even his social skills gave his fellow Republicans the ick. Take it from Republican Markwayne Mullin.
We had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night.
First of all, I'm not sure Matt Gaetz knows how to brag. You're going around telling coworkers that you're freebasing Viagra? And you know I had to use an extra small condom, bro. Yeah! Hit me up top. Also, yeah. Super tiny. Yeah, bro. Oh, I could barely get it up. Yeah. Also, for the love of God, who drinks energy drinks? Pound some coffee like an adult sexual predator, man. Clearly, the Justice Department is about to get a hardcore bro makeover. I mean, once Gaetz is in power, you're going to get to plead guilty, not guilty, and the f***'s your problem, man. More importantly, there's not a single thing we've seen from Matt Gaetz's career or character that would make him fit to be the Attorney General of the United States. Luckily, all it will take to stop him is for his own colleagues who legitimately hate him to show the slightest bit of spine. What say you, Markwayne Mullin?
Are you going to vote for Matt Gaetz? I completely trust President Trump's decision-making on this one.
I don't get it. Do you hate Matt Gaetz or not, Markwayne? You can't have it both ways. Unlike your mom did when she couldn't decide whether to name you Mark or Wayne. Come on! There you have it, folks. The Republican submission to Donald Trump in a nutshell. Matt Gaetz is a creep who forced me to watch his sex tapes, and yes, I will be voting for him. Happy Thanksgiving.